So to make the sleeve, I've folded my fabric into two first, then fold into two again for the two sleeves. Okay, so that's into four. Now the folding of this fabric is in excess of about 4 to 5 inches. You can do as much as you want depending on how full or how gathered you want it to be. Okay, so once you get the size of the fabric, you then mark the length of the fabric. Now from the top, I'll come down by 5 inches. This is because I added a little pleat at the top. Now whereby you do not want any pleat, you can just do 4 inches. So I'll use my free hand to connect the armhole area. Okay, that is the shape of the sleeve. Now I just want to align the lower part, let it be in alignment. Okay, so once this is done, I'm going to trim off my sleeve. Remember, this is with freehand. You can actually draft it on your paper if you're a pattern drafter, and if you're a freehand, this is just what you have to do. Okay, like I said before, you can extend it more. Now I'm going to carve out the center of the sleeve. The curving depends on how wide open you want it to be. Okay, you might not do exactly what I've done. I came down by 2 inches, but this is a guide to you achieving what you saw on the thumbnail. Okay, if you don't want it to be too wide, 1 inch deep is enough instead of 2 inches. Mine was a bit wider than this, so 1 inch is enough. 0.75 is enough depending on how wide you want it to be. What matters is that you have opening, and then so you curve it the way I've just curved this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to cut it out. You cut out the shape that you have marked. So if you're a new person to this channel, please kindly do subscribe and watch out for more interesting videos. So this is what we have. And now for the facing of this area that we've cut out, I'm going to place my cutout and then add 2 inches on the sides. 2 inches on the sides and cut out the shape. This is for us to turn the area that we've just minus. Okay, you can just leave it like that, or another thing you can do is to use facing. What we are doing is facing, is to use bias, but I prefer facing instead of bias. Okay, so I'm going to cut out the shape so that we can sew it to the area that was cut out and help it to be well finished. Right, so we've taken away the other part. This is all that we need, and all I have to do is just to trim it more so that everything looks nicer and perfect. So like I was saying, if you're a new subscriber, thank you. If you're a new person to this channel, please kindly do subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. We have new and interesting videos every week, 3 times a week. Okay, you can as well suggest what you want us to do. Now this is for one sleeve. I'll also cut for another sleeve for the second sleeve. So once we finish cutting, we're going to place it this way and sew it round. Now to the parts that we're not sewing, use your weaving machine to weave it, okay, so that it becomes neat. So we're just going to sew it right round at the edge, 0.5 inch, and then this other part, like I said, you're going to weave it. Okay, this is just a very simple sleeve. I'll do the same thing on the other sleeve as well. Okay, so that's what we'll do now. Now you can see I've just sewn it and turned it right inside. So I'm going to use my hemming gum to put it down so that it doesn't flip when you wear it. Use your hemming gum. You can double the hemming gum if the hemming gum is not a strong one, so that it stays in place, because you're not going to be sewing on this again. So I'll put the hemming gum right round. Use steam iron or water, whichever one you have, and make sure it is well ironed, well pressed. Okay, so this is it. This is what we have after the ironing. Now the next thing we're going to do is to gather the lower part of it, and at the upper part too we still gathered it. So once the gathered is done, we'll use our strap to fold it, sew it first. Now the opening is as wide as what you cut out. Okay, so that's why I said if you want it 1 inch or 2 inches, cut out 1 inch. If you want it not so wide, 0.75 can also do it for you instead of 2 inches. And the size of the sleeve depends on how gathered you want it. Okay, so just iron it down to enable me know where to sew properly, and then I'll stitch on top of it. Okay, so this is what we have. Now once you stitch on top of it, you can now make a little bow and use needle and thread to tack it on top of it. Okay, so I'll sew on top, take it to my sewing machine and sew. Now I couldn't snap it well,